think I might have overstayed my welcome, and so this is my very last video today. Probably. It's time for another episode of Look Ma, No Soil. Welcome back. My name is Boss. I'm a gardener and a lover of all things spicy. This is, in fact, the last episode in this series, Look Ma, No Soil. Well, at least in this run. I'll do more videos soon, but for right now, we're going to wrap it up. It's been 10 weeks since we planted our seeds. That's it. And in those 10 weeks, we've grown some lettuce. I killed some lettuce. I actually sat here yesterday and ate some lettuce on camera that wasn't recording. So we're going to give this another try. I've grown tomatoes and peppers that we'll take a look at in a minute in just 10 weeks. Did it with very, very little effort, all using Kratky style hydroponics. And I'm hopeful that at least a few of you learned something, right? I think it's a great thing if people grow their own food. And if you can do it year round, indoors, and it doesn't take much thought or effort, I consider it a win. So if even one or two of you tried something new and are growing Kratky style hydroponics, awesome. I want to hear about it in the comments. I would love to see pictures of your grow. If you're on social media, let me know how to follow you. You can find me on Instagram at BossGrows. And please, if you've enjoyed these videos, consider subscribing. But now let's get down to the important stuff. How does it taste? So I have here this Red Robin Micro Dwarf tomato. You can see it's got about a half a dozen ripe tomatoes on it right now. I've already picked a few off. I was antsy. And so I know they're good, but I want to let you see what they look like on the inside, and we'll do a quick taste test. And then we'll go check out the peppers. Okay, so in this case, all you have to do to harvest, pop it off, right? Comes right off in your hand. So we'll grab a couple of these. Matter of fact, may as well pick everything that's ripe. That one's for the dog. So, pro tip from me. Tomatoes are round. If you drop them on the table, they might roll away. We'll get this little guy down here too. He's not completely ripe, but in a day or so he will be. So there's still several fruits on this plant here that will ripen up. And I had another one that I was growing as a backup that I didn't end up needing. I guess this looks great. Once I get this last harvest off, these last few tomatoes, the plant's done. It's a determinate variety tomato, so it's not going to keep growing and keep producing fruits. This is it. But in 10 weeks, I'm going to have a total of about 15 to 20 tomatoes that grew in a mason jar. Come on. That's awesome. So I think we'll take this big plump guy here. Hopefully you can see it well. And we'll give this the old slicer. That's a knife. I'm just going to slice right down the middle so you can see that is juicy, beautiful looking flesh. Try and get that into the camera here. It smells very fresh, sweet. I think it's time to take a little taste here, right? I know you're saying it's a cherry tomato. Just pop the whole thing in your mouth. That's not classy. I'm trying to be classy. All right, let's give it a taste. Delicious. So again, it's just incredibly juicy. A very, very sweet tomato. This is the first Red Robin Micro Dwarf that I've grown. But I'm really happy with the flavor. These are going to be excellent in salads. I'm actually going to throw some of them on the smoker maybe this weekend. Having a little barbecue going on. But I think they might be good that way, and then make them into a little bit of a... Man, even when they're not round, they're so slippery, they're hard to hold on to. But make a little bit of a smoked sauce to go with something. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. 10 weeks from seed to eat. With no soil. That's pretty good. So that's one. I'm going to talk with my mouth full because it's the last episode. What are you going to do about it? Tomatoes. 10 weeks. What I think is actually possibly even more impressive is what we're going to look at next. And so here we are. Look at this thing. 10 weeks from seed to full-grown pepper, NuMex April Fools. Now, the fruits haven't ripened yet. You can see they're purple. They will ripen to red, I believe. Typically they do. But there's a bunch of them. And there's a whole bunch of flowers getting ready to become fruits. Super impressed because my goal, if you'll remember from an earlier episode, I wanted to have peppers by April Fool's Day on the NuMex April Fool's pepper. Well, this video comes out on April Fool's Day, 2022. Success! Now, I'm not going to eat one of these today because unripe peppers are just not a fair taste test. But you can see I have dozens, and quite frankly, I don't know if these are going to taste good in the first place because it's kind of an ornamental variety. Oftentimes, those look great, but don't taste great. But let's take a quick look at what's under the hood here. If I can get the lid off without, making a mess. It's got a good seal. Everything's fine. All right. We're going to go ahead and make a mess on the table, but those roots, not bad. They stayed nice and white. You can see these blue buckets do a much better job blocking the light out than white ones or orange ones. Not a huge root mass, but it's not a huge plant, right? It's about 12 inches tall, 8 inches across. So everything's happy here. The nutrient solution is actually only down to about here in the bucket, so not a heavy feeder, and it's still produced 1.5 dozen peppers so far and another 2 dozen flowers on this plant. So it's important to remember a couple of things. When you want to grow a pepper plant or something bigger than, say, lettuce or a small micro-dwarf tomato, use a big container. 5 gallons of nutrients are going to end up being enough to feed this plant its whole life. Some of my other peppers already have needed a little bit of a top-up because they are bigger plants and are using more of that nutrient solution. But really, in this case, one fill, all I've done is adjust pH. That's another really important thing to remember. I can't say it enough. Anytime your plants in hydroponics look either slow, like they're not growing as fast as they should, or they don't look quite right and you're not sure what's wrong with them, first thing to check is pH. I will tell you 9 out of 10 times that's my issue. But for anything else, just add cow mag. It's magic. I don't want to drone on forever, but I do want to say I'm excited about sharing my love of cracky style hydroponics with all of you. If you really did enjoy this, or if you have any questions or suggestions on what to do for the next series, because there will be another series of Look Ma, No Soil, leave them in the comments below. I encourage you to share this with your friends. I really want to get more and more people growing their own food. Doesn't matter where you live, you can grow year-round indoors with just a little bit of an investment up front that will last you for years. I want to do a quick plug. If you're not already subscribed, please do, because I have some exciting stuff coming. You'll notice I'm wearing my space shirt because we are going back into orbit. I have seeds from peppers and tomatoes that have been in space. Not their parents. These particular seeds came from plants in space. And I'm going to show you how they grow. So tune in. I'm also growing the entire alphabet worth of peppers, A to Z. I'm growing it. So I'm going to be documenting that, and you can follow along this year as these plants hopefully grow into beautiful specimens of my absolute favorite type of food to grow, the chili pepper. Thanks again for watching. My name is Boss, and this is, for now, the last episode of Look Ma, No Soil.